Hi, welcome to Client Stories with DNA Angels. I'm Laura. That's the Lara one. We've got a few different Lauras, Loris, that kind of thing. So, anyway, I'm Laura S. Um, we typically tell you guys about different client stories, but today I want to give you a little educational session. We get a lot of questions about education and how to do this and that. So, I thought I'd pop on and just tell you a little bit about it. I thought I'd start with the basics, getting started with your family tree. And ignore my lisp. I have Invisalign, so. Okay, so the very first thing that you want to do is start with what you know. That's like with everything. You want to just start with you and your immediate family, your parents, your siblings, your spouse, however you want to do that. There's no right or wrong way to doing a tree. I personally have my tree includes, it starts kind of with my kids and has my husband, so it's one big tree. There is no advantage or disadvantage with ever. It's purely preference. So you're going to start with what you know and work backwards. And that includes full names, birth dates, place of birth, any other spouses or children. And for women, you always want to write them down and record them with their maiden names. Now, I know that people go by their married name, but all of the systems we have today are going to pull up the information both ways. So that is just like a standard of using maiden names. So you're going to start with your immediate family and you're going to try to stay organized. We have different things called pedigree charts and family group sheets to detail family data. And I'm going to place a copy of an example of one of these in here. Once you have these forms, it's a really great place to record everything. The way that I start, and it's pretty common, is you want to start to gather oral histories by doing things like interviewing family members. You know, I have these tapes I took of my grandfather many, many years ago, and he's been long past, and it's fun to listen to them. Actually, I have both grandfathers. One's on my phone and one's on an actual tape. So take that information, ask questions, ask family stories. Besides doing your family tree, that stuff is great for you and the future generations to have. And you can ask specific dates of things, whatever they remember. But don't forget, you always want to verify whatever you ask because there's a lot of family lore out there. And, you know, if I would have listened to my grandfather, he would have been like a spy diving down for bombs in the war or something crazy like that. And you want to kind of go into these interviews with questions. When were you born? Where were you born? Tell me about your parents, their names, your grandparents, if you have them. And just for not necessarily for a tree, but for your own family history, ask about heirlooms and family traditions. And also ask them if they if there is like a family historian in the family that they could recommend you to go speak to. Obviously, that's me and my family. I get calls all the time about that. So, and like I said, I did record these. Back in the day, I recorded my grandfather's on little cassette tapes. My grandfather, who just passed a few years ago, it's on my phone and it's video and it's really funny. And it's fun to just send them out to people. It's a great memory kind of. So, all right. So now that you've got a basis of where you're going to begin, you would like to start using some of the free resources. And actually, there's a ton of free resources, so I'll probably do another video about free resources, but let me just get started. FamilySearch.org is one of the greatest sources there is out there. There's something called Family Search Wiki, and if you know that your family is from Susquehanna, Pennsylvania, you can enter that into there, and you can actually get all different places where you can gather information. Again, I'll go over this step by step because it's a little bit confusing, but that's a wonderful source, and Family Search is free. Also, obituaries. Us as genealogists, specifically, genetic genealogists, we rely on obituaries like crazy. And I would just recommend starting off by just doing a Google search for them. You'll never know what you're going to find. There's also like legacy.com, and there's some paid sites that are really good too, like newspapers, newspapers.com, your local newspapers, newspaper archives, and Genealogy Bank. That's another one that we quite often use. Okay, so After you're doing all those free resources, it's always great to make a trip to the library, especially if you can be in the library where your family's from. They have a lot of old newspapers and things in there. But they additionally have a subscription many times to Ancestry Library Edition, and also different historic newspapers that you can get for free there. The Ancestry Library Edition is wonderful if you don't have a subscription, and you can start there, save it, and you get a lot of great information. One last free resource that we use all the time is social media. You all over Facebook, there are different. I'm Angelostro and I'm McDermott. There are Angelostro and McDermott family groups all over Facebook where you can go in and share information. You can find them for all over the place. And there's also forums like RootsWeb that has lots of different tips, and you can collaborate with people on there. Again, this is like such a fun hobby. I'm sure you'll get hooked just like we do, but a lot of the fun is working with other people. So now that you're sort of getting ready and you have all your resources, you want to start to document your findings. You want to keep track of your sources. Make citations. I don't mean they have to be fancy citations, but, note on the top if you're printing out something where you got it or how you found it or what internet site it's on. And also, you always want to double check information. So you want to verify names, addresses, locations. You just need to be really careful about going online and finding other people's trees and copying it, because let me tell you, 9 times out of 10, they are not correct at all. And it just kills me sometimes. I'm like, oh, this is not right, but I want to go tell them, but I can't tell everyone. But for sure, you can use an ancestry tree as a great hint. And you can check them if they do have documents. But if they don't have documents, I would go and search for a document to prove the relationship, the name, the birthday, etc. Next, you want to create some kind of a filing system. Now, the sheets that I showed you earlier, that is one way to keep track. But now most of us, besides having paper copies, we have it online somehow. So there's many different ways that you can build a tree. Ancestry, like I just mentioned, is one great way. There's other paid web programs that you can purchase. I just want to give a little warning about Family Search. Family Search has a wonderful tree, but you need to understand that the Family Search tree is a universal tree. It is not your specific tree. Anyone can add to it. Anyone can delete stuff. There's a lot of stuff on there that's not sourced. There's a lot of stuff that there is sourced. It may not be to the right person. So again, you need to double check your work in there. And I honestly would not keep my own personal tree on there because you never know when someone's going to change it. But it's a great, great resource to go and find information, find connections, find people. And again, Family Search has such amazing, amazing records. So I think that that's a really good start to getting your tree done. Just first of all, be patient. It takes forever. I've been doing this since I was in 4th grade, and I started off with a paper tree that I made with my grandfather. And start simple. You don't want to dive into your great-great-grandfather until you kind of build your way back there. Start simple, and then it kind of grows from that way. You kind of want to have a goal in mind. You want to maybe do this family line or this family line, or, just go back a generation at a time. And I would also recommend that not only do you want to go back, you want to go out. So you want to include aunts and uncles in there, because if you later want to do something like genetic genealogy, connecting your matches, the depth of your tree is very important, the width and depth. So you want to go back, and also aunts, uncles, cousins, that kind of thing. And then last, connect with others. Like I said, it's such a fun hobby, and it makes it meaningful when you have others to share it with. All right. Well, that's it. Happy researching.